Hello and welcome to a quick walkthrough of some core choice-based art strategies. In a choice-based art room, we're always balancing what we as teachers provide, like materials, time, and structure, with the choices that the students get to make, like what they create and how they create it. This slide shows you that there's no one right way to do choice-based art teaching. Some strategies give students freedom in the subject, some in the materials, and others in the process. The key is finding a flexible balance that works for you and your students. In the next few slides, I'm going to walk you through 5 powerful strategies that you can start using right away, whether you're just easing into choice or ready to dive all the way in. Let's take a look. Okay, so we're going to start with the easiest way into choice-based art that we can possibly think of, and this is called the personal touch project. You're not reinventing the wheel, you're not rearranging your art room, you're just taking a project that you already do, and you're embedding just one element of student choice in there, the subject. No need for any additional materials or any additional prep. The example on this slide is a felt and stitching project that I did with my second graders. The students used the same materials, followed the same basic instructions, but they each got to choose their own subject. And let me tell you, that little choice made a big impact. It helped personalize the artwork, and it gave the students a stronger sense of ownership. The next slide is another example. So on the left, you have some pinch pot turtles. Excuse me, my face is covered up, but everyone's seen a pinch pot turtle. You know what you're looking at. And on the right, you'll see what happens when students are given creative control. The same basic elements were given, right? So you've got your pinch pots, you have your attachment techniques in clay. The students on the right were encouraged to transform the pinch pots into something unique that represented them. Same skills and way more voice, choice, and imagination. Inside the Princess Artie Pants membership, there are tons of resources to help you make this transition smoothly. For example, we have resources that explicitly teach skills like attachment techniques and clay. We have others like imaginative pinch pots that actually scaffold that instruction through a slideshow and a planning sheet that make sure to give those kids the skills, but leave plenty of room for voice and choice. So if you're just beginning to explore choice-based art teaching, personal touch projects are a great low-pressure, high-impact place to start. The next step is a choose your tools project. In this strategy, you've planned the overall project, maybe even you've planned the subject, but now you give the students the chance to choose the materials that best bring their ideas to life. Markers, pastels, colored pencils, paint, let them explore and then decide what works best for them. That sparks the creative decision making, and it helps kids connect their materials to their artistic intentions. And that's an important step towards artistic independence. On the next slide, you are going to see an example of a school-wide project. So our mascot is the gecko. So I challenge my students to create their own version of a gecko using either modeling clay, collage, or paint. And I set up 3 different art centers to support these material choices, and the variety of final results was incredible, even with the same subject. Now, it's important to support students to use materials effectively, especially when you're offering choices. So that is when front loading comes in. So one of my favorite strategies for front loading is a separate lesson called either draw around the room, there's also paint around the room, where students explore different tools and techniques before diving into a project. And you can also provide visual references or technique cards at each center to support craftsmanship and to spark ideas. Again, inside the membership, there are resources that can help you do exactly this, including craftsmanship scales that give students a visual way to self-assess their materials and their skill level. These little supports make a really big difference when it comes to choice and confidence in the art room. Here we have skill builders. Skill builders are short, focused lessons where students can learn and practice specific techniques without the big pressure of a final project. Think of it as filling their creative toolkit so that they can feel more confident and capable when they move on to more independent work. And skill builders can take many forms. Maybe you're teaching drawing or painting techniques. Maybe you're introducing a concept like landscape, and you're letting the students practice that either on a guided worksheet or in their sketchbooks. It could also mean something like front-loading techniques, like maybe cardboard construction techniques, like how to score, fold, or attach pieces, and then asking students how to show what they know through a quick mini project or a demo. In my own teaching practice, I've found that giving students even a brief opportunity to practice the skill really helps them to see its value, and it helps them to understand how it might support their own independent work later on. Inside the Princess Arty Pants membership, there's a whole section of mini lessons just for this, where students are introduced to specific techniques and asked to demonstrate them without having to commit to a long-term projects. It's a great way to build skills while still keeping things low pressure and flexible. And moving on to WOW projects. Now, WOW projects stands for Wonderful Original Work of Art. And this is the ultimate choice experience. Students come up with their own idea, plan it out, gather the materials they need, and they bring it to life. It's self-directed, it's personal, and it's deeply empowering. Now, I know a lot of teachers worry about the potential of chaos that can come with WOW projects, and that's totally valid, but there are ways to mitigate the overwhelm and still keep the creative magic alive. One strategy is to have students create a detailed plan before they begin. This helps to clarify their ideas, to think through materials, and to break the projects down into manageable steps. Another helpful approach is to limit which materials are available. You're still the teacher and you know your students, you know what they can handle. For example, I don't open up my clay center until every student in a particular class has completed a personal touch project using clay. That way I know that they've practiced basic skills and they can work independently with that material. Many teachers also use a passport system for special tools and supplies. Students earn access by demonstrating understanding and responsibility. I use this for both needle felting and for glue guns. It keeps materials safe, it builds student accountability, and it makes access to the special supplies feel like an earned privilege. To help you implement WOW successfully, there are several supports inside the membership. You're going to find a printable WOW project criteria poster that clearly outlines expectations, as well as planning sheets tailored for different grade levels. These resources help students to stay on track and keep their big idea moving forward with structure and support. WOW projects are truly where student voices shine the brightest, and with a few simple systems in place, they can be one of the most rewarding experiences in your art room. Big idea projects are a beautiful way to offer structure and choice at the same time. You start by presenting a broad theme, something open-ended that all students can connect to in their own way. Then they interpret that theme using the materials, techniques, and subject matter that speaks to them. This approach creates unity across the classroom while still allowing for personal expression. One of my favorite big idea examples is the theme rainbow. Students explored this concept through a variety of media: chalk pastel, watercolors, tempera paint, and even weaving. It was amazing to see how many unique interpretations came from one shared starting point. Inside the Princess Arty Pants membership, you'll also find a list of 25 broad themes like nature. And that includes subtopics such as seasons, animals, weather, and more, so that you can adapt the theme to suit different grade levels or different classroom goals. If you're looking for something a little bit more spontaneous, there's also art prompt games that students can mix and match to create fun and engaging themed challenges on the fly. Big idea projects work really well because they give students direction without dictating the outcome. You're creating a shared conversation across the class while still honoring each child's voice, choice, and vision. Plus, with flexible tools like prompt cards, open-ended themes, and scaffolded planning sheets, you can keep things organized while letting creativity lead the way. Thanks so much for exploring these 5 choice-based art strategies with me. Whether you're offering a little bit of choice, like letting students pick their subject, or diving all the way into student-directed WOW projects, you are creating space for creativity, independence, and joyful learning. Inside the Princess Arty Pants membership, you'll find everything that you need to make these strategies work in your classroom: printable planning sheets, mini lessons, skill builders, reflection tools, classroom posters, and more. Plus, you'll be part of a growing community of teachers who believe in the power of student voice and choice. If you're ready to feel more confident, more supported, and more inspired in your art room, I'd love for you to join us.